Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Elevated Her, where we are not at the ending of anything. We are repositioning with the skills, talents, gifts, ability, and wisdom that we have gained over the years that we've been blessed to be on this earth. My name is Karon Fairweather, the founder of Boldly Becoming Her, where women are doing the inner and the outer work to become the best bold woman that they can be. And with this efforts that we're putting together here in Elevated Her, we talk about things like that. We talk about the inner work. We talk about the outer work. We talk about the language, like Miss Marcy says, those luxury words that we use. Welcome to this episode. This is episode 2 of our rebranding. It's all everything is new. How we come to you guys, you can see our backgrounds, our music. Let me tell you, y'all, our music.
Shout out that music, my God.
If you heard the intro, y'all, that's just a little tip of the other music that we have. Our illustrious producer and music maestro, I'm calling her now. She did that. Yes. She did that from beginning to end. What it is right now, we're very grateful, and that just personifies how we are coming to you differently. Because we have elevated with the AM affirmation space. That was our founding. That was our grounding, our foundation. That's how we started. But as we grew, our conversation elevated. So should our presentation to you elevate, to show you this is what you can do too. You can start where you are, but nothing keeps you where you are. You can go to the next level. And with that being said, I'm going to go to the next person to introduce themselves.
All right. And I'm going to just grab that mantle and then I'll pass it on. And I really love, now that we are here at Elevated Her, it really helps me introduce who I am, Clavia Allen of Chosen 31 Essentials, where because we are becoming and elevating, we're able to share those stories that we sometimes shy away from. We fear judgment. We are embarrassed. But at Chosen 31, we help guide you to share those stories by way of dance, healing through our bodies, also storytelling by writing, publishing those books that maybe, again, it might have been under your mattress or in a journal or in your mind. Now you're able to execute those stories, tell those stories that now you're building legacy, and also being able to be interviewed where you can verbally speak those things. And again, that comes with elevation, and we definitely help you with that. So you kind of have that twofold where you can connect with us here at Elevated Her, but then you can continue at Chosen 31 Essentials. So I'll pass it now on to Miss Marcy Moments.
Yes.
I definitely should have went first then. Hello, elevators. Like I said, first of all, I'm Marcy Trueheart with Marcy Moments. And what I do is I speak luxury words into you. Mm-hmm. We have to imagine what our vocabulary needs to be.
Yes. Yeah.
And the song, I've heard the song several times, but Elevate Her. She's come through in the fire, but elevate her. So Spirit just dropped in me real quick because of the simple fact I'm elevated. The words that I said were affirmations. I'm actually giving them now in manifestation. So I use those luxury words because I wanted to reach out to people. I wanted to reach out to women who, like myself, I was broken, but now the new me that's been through the fire and the flames, I can come with so much more information. Yeah. She's elevated. I'm elevated, and I am living my affirmations in the manifestation. That's how luxury words work in your life.
Love it.
Absolutely. Love that, ladies. Love that. And hopefully elevators, not tours, but ters. That's what we're going to call our audience, elevators, because we're bringing you along with us. We can't do it for you, but we are bringing you along with us to elevate, go to the next level.
Yes.
Because there's always another round. The round goes higher and higher, and we don't want to get stuck anywhere. And I love what Miss Marcy and Miss Clavia said about it. They are even elevating themselves because we have elevated individually and collectively. We have elevated, and that's what this space is all about. We started out in one place, but we couldn't stay stuck where we were. We had outgrown that space. So now we're in a new, elevated, expanded, and evolving space where we can continue to become all that we are to become, right? And that requires a new stage because who knows? In a couple of years, we might be rebranded again. I don't think so because this is so vast. This is so vast. I don't know that we can outgrow this brand here, but nonetheless, let's get into today's topic. Why
Yes.
inspiration alone is no longer enough. Enough for what?
Mm.
Enough for everything. Just being inspired, because you get inspiration from all over the place. I'm in the shower, I get inspired by something. I'm cooking, I get inspired by something. But if I don't take action, like writing it down, for one, let's start there. If I don't write it down so I can go back to it and put a plan together, that's all it was inspiration. It's not enough if I don't take action. It's not enough if I don't put a plan together. And it's not enough if I don't execute. Execute. So, with that, I want to just dig into this a little deeper here. Performance intent. When we think about our inspiration, things that we've been inspired to do over the years, I know I myself can give about a whole bunch that I was inspired, but I didn't take any action. Then I look back on like, dang, man, if I taken action back then, maybe this, that, and the third. We can't second guess because we can't undo it. But I do think about that sometimes, the things that I was inspired to do. And for whatever reason, whether it was, we were talking about this earlier, how we don't give ourselves enough credit for what we know, right? We don't give ourselves enough credit for what we know and the experience and the wisdom that we have. So when opportunities present themselves, because we have not recognized that we have elevated, we think we're still down there, but we actually are elevated, but we don't take action on it. We don't take action on it. So when it comes to women who have done years of and we've all done this, we've taken the personal development courses, we've read the books, we've listened to the podcast, we've done all the things, but yet we have not moved. And it's a word, what's it called?
Procrastination.
Information, huh?
Procrastination.
That too. I think it's information paralysis. We have so much information, but we're not taking any action on anything.
Yes.
We're just collecting information, going to this workshop, listening to that podcast, going to this seminar, going to that retreat. But when are we going to take action?
Then what? Yeah.
Right.
Right.
When are we going to take action? So for years we have been told that if we just stay positive, now, being having the brand, the Affirmation Whisper, we having the podcast of AM Affirmation Space, we can talk about that positive thing all day and night long. But what we also have recognized is that being positive is an energy. Now you got to take that energy and turn it into action. Take that energy and turn it into action because I can feel your energy. But what is your energy doing? Is your energy doing anything? So when we have these inspiration, we have these ideas, we're getting all this information, we're getting all this training. What are you doing with it? You might have got an inspiration, say, okay, I think I want to do, so I'm going to take this workshop, I'm going to take this class, which is all great, all wonderful, actually expected. But what then? What then? So elevating her, we exist for not only that, but partly that we want to inspire women. So let's get going.
Hmm.
You have so much wisdom, so much experience, so much know-how. You have raised children. You have been in corporations. You've worked your way up from the bottom to top of management. I think it's time for us to just look at ourselves now. What are we going to do for ourselves? We've done so much for so many others, building up their businesses or building up a business or putting getting children out the door, supporting our husbands. When are we going to put our efforts, our knowledge, our wisdom into ourselves? It's long overdue, ladies. It's long overdue. So
Yeah.
calling a thing a thing. Encouragement can be your mood. And this part here, y'all put a pin in this. But strategy changes your life. I can have a positive mood, positive attitude, all I want to, and still be making $7.99 an hour.
Yeah.
You're the most positive person I know because I always got those good positive things to say to you, right? But I'm still in the same place I was 10 years ago. What is that positivity doing for me? Where's my strategy? What have I done? What execution have I taken place in my life to do these things that I'm encouraging everybody else to do? And listen, I am guilty of that. I will be guilty of explaining to someone, I will give you a whole plan. I will give you a whole plan of how to
Mm-hmm.
execute what you want to do, because I have these ideas and I have these thoughts and I have this inspiration. So I'm pouring it into you. But for years, not now, be mindful, not now. But I have for years, I would do that for others. Oh, you have such great ideas. But then when it comes from myself, oh, I don't know how to do that. Oh, I've never done that before.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, maybe somebody else might could do that better than me.
Who
What are we doing?
says? Yeah.
Right? What am I doing? What am I really doing? So when we have a strategy, it can change your life. It really can. Now, does inspiration have a limit, ladies?
Hmm.
Does inspiration have a limit?
It doesn't. I think there's different levels of it. It comes with the growth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Marcy, what's your thoughts on does inspiration have a limit?
Inspiration doesn't have a limit, but inspiration without, like you said,
The action.
an
Yeah.
action is just some cute
It's just
words to make
inspiration.
you happy for the
Right.
moment. Yeah.
Now, I would have answered right away, no, does inspiration have a limit? With if that's all you have. But you ladies have really expressed that when we put a plan together, no, inspiration doesn't have a limit because it grows into something more than just inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
looking at this for just a moment, the framework, there are seasons when we need comfort, there are seasons when we need courage, but there's also a season when we need clarity.
Mm-hmm.
Clarity. So I have this inspiration to do X, Y, or Z. Now let me talk with someone. Let me pray about it. Let me go to an expert. Let me do some research. Let me go to Claude. Let me go to chat somewhere and get some clarity about what it is you want to do. That's another thing that I had to get clear on and still getting clear on and have to go back and get clear again is what is it that I truly want to do? Because we'll have these ideas of, whoa, that's just wonderful, but how to execute it. Clarity about is this truly what I believe it is, or was it just a nice idea? I have those a lot. Nice ideas, but this might not be the time for that. I was listening to a podcast this weekend of a woman say that she has started over, I think she said 25 different businesses,
Mm-hmm.
and more than half of them were started too soon.
Mm.
More than
And is she
half of them.
successful now?
Say again?
Is she successful now after?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. She has a design studio, something that she goes and decorate stages and such. But over half of them, I wonder that was it just inspiration that she immediately built a business around, or did she get that clarity about
Right.
that inspiration? You know what I mean? Because I think I'm like, dang, over half of them. Now she says some of them she had to put on the back burner. Some of them she had to vet differently, and those have been built into something. But for the most part, that half that aren't the weren't the it wasn't the time for them, she had to just think about, okay, let me just stop, because we can really get caught in what's it called, a hamster wheel of going around and around in a circle trying to get things done when we don't have clarity about what it is we're trying to get done. So having clarity is very important. Why inspiration? It matters to have inspiration. Now let's be clear, we need to be inspired because some of the most amazing ideas came from inspiration, right?
Mm-hmm.
We need to have the difference between emotional momentum and structural change. So sometimes we can be so passionate about something that that's what we're working on. We're just working on the passion. Not that that's a bad thing, but if you don't have structure to channel your emotion, your passion about this project, then your emotional structure is going to run out of steam
Mm-hmm.
because you're not getting anywhere. You're not getting anywhere. And finally, the reflections. When we are not reflections, inspiration. When we are inspired to do something, get your clarity about it. Talk to people about it. Put a plan together and execute with a firm foundation. That I will say. Execute with a firm foundation. Some of us, I have people on both sides of the street about going, what is it, starting dirty? I think that's the term, starting dirty. I have people that say, nope, don't do that. As some say, yeah, and figure it out as you go. I'm not here to tell you which one, but I am here to tell you that you need a strategy at some point. At some point, you need a strategy because you're going to find that you're not going anywhere real fast. So either start with that strategy that will go, it will grow and will change, or do you and get to a point of needing to get some clarity. I want to push this over to Miss Clavia for her to start her segment. But before I do, one thing I want to, the final thing I want to say is, how do I stay encouraged? The way, that's how we used to say the question, but now how we say it is, what decision is my life asking me to make? So when we have these ideas that we want, pouring into them for me would be with prayer and asking, what direction am I to go with this inspiration that I have? What direction am I to go? Because sometimes it's just inspiration, y'all. It's not anything for us to really do. So with that said, Miss Clivia, go ahead.
Yeah, I think definitely growth requires a new language. And I mean, this is a prime example of us starting the AM affirmation space, affirming, saying all the things that we know either we believe, or again, sometimes we don't believe it yet, but we say it until they are, right? And with that growth of new language, now we understand we have elevated, but some people get trapped in that, not even, what do you call, like a globe of, okay, how can I live my best life? How can I move
Mhm.
forward? Am I enough? Should I take the position? Should I walk into the room? And I have a very recent example of walking into the room like God sent me, right?
Mm.
And I believe that. And never thought I would be invited. Now, we are podcasters. And I remember when Marcy hesitated to say that she's an author. And then I look back, even for myself, this was in 2007 when I wrote my first book, and I had a whole book signing. And I said, oh, I'm not an author, but here, let me sign your book, girlfriend, right? So it's now living in the manifestation of what we affirmed. One of my affirmations is walking into the room like God sent me. The other day, I
Mm.
was invited to be a podcaster to interview Miss Corporate America. There were a couple of contestants throughout the U.S., and this was the national competition, and they had Lisa Ray McCoy as the first national She Reigns ambassador. The opportunity to interview her. And I'm like, okay, I manifested it. God, you go before me. I will not fear. I would walk in confidence. And when I tell you that day, there were so many delays. And then to hear the words that we affirm, delay is not denial. And I'm like, okay, well, this seems like denial because I was super late. You guys, I shared a blog about this experience. I was late because of traffic, the wrong hotel, all the things that can happen, even though I affirmed, right? But I believe that this happened for a reason. I was able to stand right next to the Queen, Queen Lisa, and it wasn't even about me. This was about, yes, I manifested it, but God, I'm in the room. And I was able to connect with so many of those women. Why? Because I wasn't trapped in, okay, I want to walk in the room. I walked in the room, right? And that was just live and in person. It was really beautiful. So now that was growth. That was
So let
saying,
me
okay,
let me allow me to pause you for just a minute,
mhm,
just in case y'all didn't catch that. Our fellow podcaster had the opportunity. She manifested interviewing Lisa. What's her last name again?
Lisa Ray
Right.
McCoy.
Lisa Ray McCoy. Y'all know who she is.
Yes.
Talk about talk about elevating. Hmm. Go
Yes.
ahead.
And that again, we say these things, but we have to believe it. And it may not be when we expect. I did not expect it. And when did this happen? We had our reset experience, Karon, and it was one of the young ladies that was in the room. And she pulled me to the side before she left. She was like, I got something to tell you. And she told me 2 days later, and I was like, well, okay, God, this is part of that reset. Everything
Yes.
just happened, right? And
Yes.
such a beautiful thing. What served us 5 years ago may not serve us today. Right. And again, sometimes we manifest things from, I shared with somebody the other day, our grandparents, great grandparents, Jesus is coming back. Some people gave up on that. Some people walked away from the church because now I'm 80 and he's still not here. But if we can just believe that it's going to happen. So it's the
Yeah.
same thing with our affirmations that, yes, what served us many years ago, it's different now, right? It's a different
Right.
level, which means, and I would definitely give the example of being a believer where that's where your faith is stronger. That's where you intercede more. That's where you sow
Mm-hmm.
more. That's where you serve more. And you would see the fruit of your labor. Outgrowing, so we have some talking points. The first one is why maturity changes the questions we ask. And I had some notes on that. Sometimes in the beginning, right? We would ask ourselves, do you think I can? But now we're saying, what's my next fateful step?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of
Mm-hmm.
asking, am I enough? Will I fit in? What do people think of me? As we
Mm-hmm.
grow and the conversation changes, and our producer shared something in the beginning, and this is going to be for you, putting you on the spot. Is this where God is leading me? Does this align with my values and purpose? What is the season trying to teach me? Who am I
Mm-hmm.
becoming because of this experience?
Mm-hmm.
And what
Mm-hmm.
requires my attention instead of my opinion?
Yeah.
Right. So as we mature and as we grow, it teaches us that not every conversation deserves our energy. That's one. Some discussions keep us trapped. Like I said in the beginning, it keeps us stuck in yesterday while God is saying, I'm ready for you to walk into your tomorrow. We have
Mm.
to get unstuck. We have to get unstuck so the conversation changes. And that's where maturity comes in. Moving from affirmation to application. Instead of
Mm.
waiting for permission, you
All
begin
right,
walking in.
dropping gems today. Go ahead. I hear you. I
Amen.
hear you. Drop those gems, girl. I hear you. Marcy, she dropped a few because I saw your eyebrow raising too. Like, all right, Chica, go ahead.
It's the lips. They inspire me. So moving from affirmation to application. So again,
Mhm.
instead of waiting for permission, we begin to walk in obedience. When the
Yeah.
conversation no longer matches our yesterday season, we notice that again, gossip feels exhausted instead of entertaining. Complaining
Mm-hmm.
feels unproductive instead of comforting. So you see there's a shift in all of that, in the way we think, in the way we talk, in who we're with. Growth matters more than being right. Your
Mm-hmm.
silence is in distance, it's discernment. And we talked about that in previous seasons where Karon, you mentioned clarity just now. So also understanding where wisdom comes in, where discernment comes in. And it's
Yeah.
not that you're avoiding people, but you're also
Mhm.
protecting the mindset required for your next
Yeah.
season. Discussion, the difference between feeling seen and being challenged. And again, it
Mm.
can come in so many different ways. Where, again, I'm going to give reference to that event. I I didn't care about being seen. So the person that invited me, my battery died, right? My phone battery died. The charger that she had wasn't the right charger. But I said, you know what, Queen, you go ahead. I showed her my questions and she was like, oh, those are good. And she was able to just flow. The lady, I guess the PR said, Lisa, you got 60 seconds. We stood 3 minutes because she started to pour in. And it was such a beautiful thing where,
Mhm.
again, I was behind the camera, making sure the light was good. I was in the room. And that's what mattered to me. I was there for the experience.
Right.
So it was
That's
more
right.
than feeling seen, it was really for
Mhm.
the experience and also challenging myself. Like, I know people get starstruck, right?
Mm.
I wasn't nervous because I'm like, this is somebody just like me. She's just times we're not stuck because we information. We're stuck because we've stopped allowing ourselves to be challenged. And again, we have to challenge ourselves. If opportunities are knocking
Mhm.
and our affirmation was, I don't know, anything about opportunity, or again, walking into the room, or I am the answer, be the answer and say yes. And again, you would have to discern, what is this opportunity doing for me? What is this experience saying in my new season? So you would have to know the difference. Reflection questions, and we're coming down before I hand it off. What truth have you been avoiding because it's uncomfortable?
Mm.
What truth have you been avoiding? Is it the truth of who you are? Is it the truth of where you belong? Is it the truth that, again, who you're supposed to be with? There's a lot of truth that we deny ourselves of. And again, it can make us uncomfortable, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So, Marcy, whenever we begin having these different conversations as we mature, as we grow, we also begin confronting different figures. What does that look like for us?
Ooh. So the conversation that changes us often challenges us first. Um, and that's a big thing. Fear, because our fear is definitely sometimes our
Mm.
fear overshadows our ability.
Yeah.
See, our nervous system prefers familiar answers, even when we can no longer produce what we want. And with that, I don't know if y'all watched The Polygamist.
I
Have,
started to, but I polygamous makes me anxious.
but it also with the it prefers familiar answers.
Mm.
Always gave them the I he always gave them the answer that they wanted to stay stuck.
Right.
So I just wanted to, yeah. So
That's true. That's very true. Good point.
yeah. So yeah. So some talking points. The difference between emotional safety and personal safety is and personal growth. So emotional safety means that you can speak honestly without fear of being ashamed,
Mm-hmm.
dismissed, or attacked. It's a place where your voice matters and your feelings are respected. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it takes, I'm gonna be honest with you, women, it takes a lot for us to be emotionally safe from our childhood up to our adulthood because we've always been somewhere that somebody has emotionally just taken us under without that healing. So when you can be emotionally safe in a place, you have done so much healing. And that's a beautiful thing. And what happens when women stop avoiding difficult questions? Wow.
Mm.
Personal growth, rather you often ask that you sit with the discomfort. It challenges old belief, expose unhealthy patterns, and invites accountability.
Mm-hmm.
Therapy, saying that I'm hurt and what hurt me. Those are the things that we have to, we definitely have to get into so we can get out of this discomfort and dis-ease. Your discomfort is also causing you some diseases.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, growth doesn't always feel good, but it leads to freedom. So, yes, if we can sit and understand that healing is a necessity, and we can do this, we can start to renew ourselves, elevate, and accountability. If I did it wrong, if I go into the system and I deleted everything because I want to push buttons, hey, the next time I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. So that's just walking in our accountability. So let's do a reset. How do I feel? Today, ask yourself, how do I feel in this moment?
Mm-hmm.
This moment give you? Are you unsure? Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you conflicted with that question? And if you are, once again, a huge component of therapy. Talk it
Yes.
out. Talk it out because once you talk it, and for my church, people. Oh, I talked to Jesus, but is he talking back to you? Okay, you giving yourself the answer you want. I need you to go to a professional, and whatever it is, art therapy, dance, because dance is so good for the soul, and it gives you
Mhm.
It
space to
releases.
go on that
Yeah.
floor. Um,
Mhm.
Talk to your ancestors. Okay, so how do you feel in this moment, and what does this stimulation situation require from me? How do I feel right now? I think I feel hungry. So guess what? I need to go get me something to eat. But for people who are anxious about things, people who um, are in a state of instability, today, how can you move from that?
Mhm.
Write down? I need you to write down, how do you feel, your feelings, and how can you improve on those feelings?
Hmm.
So let's call a thing a thing. If every conversation agrees with you probably ain't growing.
Not at
Right.
all.
You cannot have a ground. You can't have a army of yes men. So because we see it, we're living it in real life when no one can pull you to the side. Now, our producer, the way she yanks us all up, she
All
yanks
the
us
time.
up all the time. But guess what? Because I know I need it. She'd be like, man, what? Was I screwed something up? Okay. But here's the thing, that correction is from love.
Mhm. Yep.
And that love makes me a better person. Now, when
Mhm.
I go and do certain things, I hear shot, and sometimes it's like, but really, if everybody agree with you, yeah, that's right. Get you some new for you. Do a ground and pop prompt. What's one conversation that you've been avoiding because you already know what is required of you? I'm gonna read that again, and I want you to write it down. What what's one conversation you've been avoiding because it you already know what is required of you?
Yeah.
There's often it's often where transformation begins. When we sit down, we write these things out, we answer truthfully, even though it might hurt, but that hurt
Mhm.
feeling at this particular moment, when you look back and you work on it, it will definitely um, result into a better you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
K, let's talk about what women can expect from elevating her moving forward.
Mm.
Yes, indeed. Thank you for that, Miss Marcy. That grounding question was amazing. What's one conversation you've been avoiding because you already know? Already, you don't even have to ask yourself because you already know it requires what it requires of you to have that conversation. And that's what causes us to avoid conversations oftentimes. Because you spoke about that uncomfortability, because we want to stay comfortable. We don't want nothing to challenge us, and that's how come we're not growing. So love that. Thank you so much for that. Elevated Her. I want to start out really quick with just the philosophy for Elevated Her. Every episode that you get from us will be with intention for movement, not to stay stagnant, because there is no growth. You already know stagnant water gonna start stinking after a little while. If
Yeah.
we stay in the same place, we're not going to grow. You're not going to grow. Yeah, you might become the expert. And I think of people that I've worked with in the past. I have worked with individuals that have been in pretty much the same role, somewhat expanded, for 30 years.
Oh yeah.
So one might say, well, that's because they're comfortable where they are and they have some other things going on. And I hear that, but I don't buy that. Because if we being in the same role for 30 years, if I'm doing something outside of that, I'm growing. So I'm no longer going to have that same level of comfort. But if I'm doing something else, then that's not growing. I'm doing this and this not growing. But because it's comfortable, I don't want to rock any waters. I'm going to stay right here in this role. That's my perspective. Don't take it personally if that's not you. So, but here for Elevated Her, we are about that intentional movement, taking intentional actions, being intentional about gaining clarity and understanding. When it comes to Elevated Her, every conversation moves you through these three lenses. One is going to be healing, not staying in pain,
Mm-hmm.
understanding what restoration is all about, and that I
Yeah.
no longer want that pain to govern my decisions. Because for me, myself, I know, and I'll talk about safety. Safety is huge for me. I had a different lens for safety. I wouldn't do things because I wanted to stay safe. But what I was doing is building a cocoon around me where I had no entry in and no exit out. So I
Mm-hmm.
had to reframe my thought process around that, understanding that I needed to take measures to be safe, but that doesn't mean locking myself away from the world. Because how am
Mm-hmm.
I going to do what I'm supposed to do if I'm locked away from the world? So
Yeah.
healing is the first lens that you're going to always find us coming to you here at Elevated Her. The next lens is empowering, developing the thinking, standards, and confidence to lead yourself differently.
Mm-hmm.
See how we're talking about accountability for you. This is not
Yeah.
about what you do to somebody else, because you got to do it for you before you can do it for somebody else, because people are going to be looking for that you're talking about. They want to see the results, particularly in the preacher,
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
person who's carrying that word, those that have been assigned to you, they want to see the results in you. So giving you a better way of thinking, giving you some examples of, like, both all three of us have given you one statement and then saying, well, how about saying it this way? Reframing, it's saying the same thing, but words have so much power that we want to say it in a way that empowers us, which
Mm-hmm.
also elevates your thinking, because if you think it, you're going to speak it, and if you speak it, you're going to do it. So
Mm-hmm.
if we get our thinking standards elevated, we are going
Right.
to elevate, and our confidence is going to elevate, and therefore
Mm-hmm.
you can make decisions differently. Finally,
Yeah.
the third lens that we're going to bring information to you is repositioning, making strategic decisions that align your life with where you're going, not where you've been.
There you go. Yeah.
Not where you've been. When the workshop that Clavia and I had just not too long ago, I talked about we get fall in love with our stories. Our
Yes.
stories of hurt, our stories of disappointment, our stories of pain. We really fall in love with those stories, and we tell it over and over and over again. That's where I've been. When am I going to start focusing on where I'm going and start talking about that? That's what repositioning is. That's what happened. Yep, 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 yep. All that happened. But as a result, I have so much understanding. I have so much experience. So now I can look in front of me instead of behind me, because I cannot move forward if my head is always turned over my shoulder. I don't know what's coming in front of me. So that's the framework for Elevated Her. Those three lenses, you will always find us coming from those three lenses, because we feel that's important here in
Mm-hmm.
Elevated Her: healing, empowering, and repositioning. You're not going to get something new. You're going to
Mm-hmm.
take what you already got and reposition that so you can move forward and make the
Yeah.
impact that you've been placed here to do. First, starting with yourself, not somebody else.
Yes. Amen.
This podcast will always ask better questions of ourselves first, because we see our content before you hear it. So we're going
Mm-hmm.
to always ask better questions. We're going to challenge the assumption. The assumption may be this, but is that true? Is that coming from a place of authenticity? We'll always explore the strategy. What is the strategy and how can we execute it? And finally, we will always do our best to introduce a practical framework of how you can think differently, how you
Mm-hmm.
can move forward in a better way to empower yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Calling a thing a thing, calling a thing a thing, talking about that healing, that empowerment, and that repositioning. Healing without empowerment keeps us unaware. Healing without empowerment keeps us unaware. It says aware, but it should be unaware. Empowerment without repositioning keeps us uninspired. Real change requires all three. We
Mm-hmm.
need the healing, we need the empowering, and we need the repositioning, particularly with us being in midlife. We have so much experience, so much wisdom, those skill sets that we've used to take us where we are, no matter where your R is, you have experience that has brought you there. We all have a different R. Where we are right now, it's different for us all. No comparison, because that is the thief of what? Progress. So
Mm-hmm.
we don't want to do that. So let me offer this to you. This week, ask yourself one question before making any important decision. Am I choosing what's familiar or what's aligned? And if you don't know what's aligned, there right there lies somewhere you need to spend some time with. What's
Mm-hmm.
alignment for me? What is alignment for me? Well, I don't even know what that means. Look it up. You got dictionary, you got Claude, you got chat, you got dictionaries, you got people. Come on, look it up. Get informed. Write your answer down and then take action on it. I'm in the process right now of realigning some things in my business because I realize I'm out of alignment. I'm doing all this fantastic surface work, but my foundation got some cracks. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm halting my process, taking care of some foundational cracks, and then moving forward in alignment, not out of alignment. And that comes from your business, your personal life, your career, your financial life, which we will be talking about here. It's everywhere, being in alignment. And if you can't say with all certainty that you are in alignment in these areas of your life, those areas require your attention. So here at Elevated Her, those are the types of conversations that you can expect to hear from us. Every woman deserves conversations that respect the complexities of her life. And we have complex lives, y'all. We view them as not complex, but when you start to break that thing down, they're very complex. We don't need conversations that assume that I'm just beginning, because one thing I'm not doing is beginning, starting over from scratch. I am
Mm-hmm.
not. I might be starting from where I am and moving forward. We're going to have conversations here that recognize she's carrying decades of wisdom, responsibility, experience, and possibilities. I like that last
Yes.
one.
Mm-hmm.
Possibilities. That's why Elevated here is here. This didn't drop in my spirit. Oh, that's a great idea. No, no, no. This came with much conversation with us here and really developing this podcast brand in a way to empower us, heal
Yes.
us, and reposition
Yes.
us.
Yeah.
So that's what you can expect here. For your second act does not need to be about inspiration, y'all. Come on, inspiration is wonderful, but it really
Yeah.
doesn't take you very far without action. It
Action.
needs a good conversation. Have some conversations with people. Your circle really does dictate how high you go.
Yeah.
Don't believe me? Look at your circle.
Mm-hmm.
If you're the smartest one in your circle, you need some additions to your circle. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna leave that right there.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, y'all, I,
Love it.
I love where we're coming from. I love our philosophy and our framework because it really does speak to us where we are. Affirmations are always going to be a part of our foundation. It is not going anywhere. Luxury words, as Miss Marcy says,
Mm-hmm.
never going anywhere, because we have to be aware and very intentional about our words. But now our words are taking us into better conversations, bigger conversations that are really going to help us to reposition ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So if today's conversation, y'all, resonated with you, we love to hear from you. We have some affirmations we're going to read. We have some scriptures we're going to read, and then we're going to wrap this show up. And we're so excited to have you guys here. So excited. So let me give me my affirmation first. If I can get to it really quick. There it is. Let me get to the right screen there. Got too many screens open, y'all. Bear with me. There it is. It's out of the way. I choose clarity over comfort, discipline over delay, and aligned action over emotional excitement. I can get very emotionally excited, y'all. It's hollering all over the place. But I choose I choose aligned action. I am here to be awakened, equipped, and empowered. Yes, yes, and yes.
I am I am great. Mm. I embrace encouraging conversations that help me heal, grow, and become my higher self. I am safe. I am strong. I am elevated.
As I mature, I ask better questions. You okay, Marcy? Can we do Marcy's affirmations again? Can we do a real?
Give her a chance to reread that because she just put
Take
words.
your time, baby. Take your time.
I was thinking of something else. Okay, I embrace courageous conversation that help me heal, grow, and become my higher self. I am safe. I am strong. I am evolving.
Amen.
Ooh, love that.
Amen. As I mature, I ask better questions, align my habits with my prayers, and embrace the conversations, opportunities, and assignments that match the season God has called me to walk in. Amen.
Amen.
In our scripture, be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity. You hear that, producer? Because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the Lord's will is. And we want to always walk in the Lord's will. And that's Ephesians 5, verse 15 to 17.
Amen. So we've been calling out our producer over a particular subject that was brought up earlier, because she calls us, as Marcy said, she'll call us out in a heartbeat. And now it's not a tit for tat. It's because we love each other that we're always calling each other out for us to be our best selves. So
yes,
that's what that's all about there. So you guys, remember that challenge that I gave you this week. Yes, I'm having a connection issue. So let me wrap this up. Really think about that question that I put at the end there so that you can do better. There's a QR code that was on the screen. Please feel free to scan it. Subscribe. We are looking to increase our audience base. So share this out. Get that QR code, send it to someone else so that you too can become a part of this community, because we are looking to do things even greater than we did in our previous stage. So here we are, Elevated H.E.R. And y'all listen to these songs. I'm telling you, and if you're interested in getting a full track, we'll see what we can do for you. Let us know.
We gotta call our producer.
Yes, we gotta call her and make sure she's all right with that. So listen, thank you for being here. You, Clavia. I could not do this show without you. So let's see, where is she? Did I see? Okay, I don't know what, hold on.
Something's still happening
here. Okay. I don't know what's happening. My screen is blinking. I'm trying to keep it from blinking. I don't know. Anyhow, I guess it's time for us to go. Let's get on out of here, y'all, and have an awesome day. And remember, elevators. You are here in the Elevated H.E.R podcast, where we are continually evolving and becoming the best version of ourselves. Until next time, peace and blessings.
Bye.
For the woman becoming Elevate H.E.R. Elevate H.E.R. Rooted, refreshed.